morning. This is Mark DeRocher in for Brenda Lane in the Spotlight. And boy, we have got an entire studio and phone full of guests for the big production of EVITA, Night Blue Performing Arts Group, along with the SMSO, putting on EVITA opening night this Saturday, September the 24th. Tickets start at $15, go up to $35, $5 for students, 12 and under free, teachers are free. Very exciting. I'll tell you what. David, are you on the line with us now?
I am, yes. Hello.
Excellent. David Walters, the artistic director, and I got to tell you, this is pretty exciting. He's in Chicago. Robin was in Nashville. We're here in world headquarters, Benton Harbor. and I know you're envious, David.
Yes.
I figured
I've
you
been
would
there
be.
before.
Yes, all right. Well, it's so glad that you could get up early this morning and get on the phone with us. Let's talk a little bit about these very talented young folks in the studio with us, Kathleen and Christian. How did you come about casting these guys, David?
You know, they auditioned as part of a process where we had about 80 different actors come out and audition for the show. At the end, we took about 15. And I think that Christian, Ketter, and Kathleen Wrinn, who are playing the lead roles of Che and EVITA in our production, really distinguished themselves not just by their talent in terms of singing and acting, but also in their commitment to the parts, even in their audition, of developing a character that was somebody that had a human emotion and somebody that you could really feel for as an audience member.
Wow. That's very nice. They're both blushing. Just kidding.
They do that well.
Yeah.
It's called acting.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to jump right in and talk with Kathleen first, since she's the shy one of the two. As EVITA, tell me about EVITA. How much research did you do, and what was your impression of her?
I'm having so much fun playing her. I was talking to some of the cast members before it started, and I said that I love opportunity to play actual people from history. I really like getting to dive into autobiographies or biographies or just whatever kind of research and figure out who they were. And for her, it's hard because she's a figure of also like myth and legend. I mean, she was this real person, but there's so much built up about her that it's kind of hard to sift through and figure out what was really true. But the fact is, the portrayal in the show is what you go off of, and then you can just add in your own flavor to it. But I've read something she had called My Message, or Mi Mensaje, which was basically her deathbed account of her life and like the last thing she wanted to say. So I've done quite a bit of research on it, but the most, I guess, where I draw most of my stuff is actually just from the music itself.
You know, I got to tell you, the little bit that I did research on before we got on too, it seemed like she was bigger than life to such a large majority of Argentina. Mm-hmm. But to really sift through, like most large figures, political figures, you find out some dark sides of her, and obviously the music does that. Goes up and down and up and down, and
right. And you in the show itself, you get, I mean, Che, which the character Christian plays. A lot of what he says is very critical of her, but so you have his story of her life that kind of combats with her story of her life, and then it's the audience's choice, basically, of what they think were her motives. Was she a saint, or was she just kind of a overly motivated, evil, conniving, various other fun words.
You're not trying to persuade
on morning
us
radio. I won't say them.
All right. Well, Christian, let's talk about Che. And I mean, was this something that you really? This is like meat and potatoes for you, huh?
Well, I had the privilege of this will be the second different performance of this, a string of performances that I'll have within this year. By the time Night Blue's over, it'll be the third time I'm performing the role this year.
Wow.
But to take off where Kathleen left off, Che, Tim Rice read an account that was more negative than anything else, and that's why EVITA tends to be negative. So it's always a balance beam for a director, as David could probably tell you, that playing the good and evil and pulling out the good parts and the bad parts.
And let's go back to you, David. Tell me a little bit about the balance with these two guys. I mean, the direction. Obviously, you don't want to lean the audience. You want to let them make their own assumptions about EVITA. But I mean, did you have a hard time? I mean, obviously, being a director, you know the strengths and weaknesses of your actors and actresses. So tell me about it.
I think that for me, what's really interesting and what's allowed us to strike a good balance is I kind of came into the production never having seen the stage play of EVITA before. I had never seen the movie I had only the script to go off of, which I think when you just read the script, there is a very negative portrayal of her that in the writing. But earlier this year, I had made a trip to Buenos Aires and done some research there and kind of really got a feel on the ground for the way people continue to feel about her. And I came away from that with a very positive experience from the people, even though I think people don't disagree that the government had some problems when the Perones were in power. I think there's still this very feeling that she lifted their nationalistic spirit. And for me, that's been great because I came into it with a little bit of a positive balance, and that's allowed me, I think, to strike a great balance between those two characters with what the writing shows, which is Che's somewhat harsher perspective of Evita's life.
David Walters is our artistic director for EVITA, coming up this Saturday at the LMC. We're going to be, opening performances this Saturday. Is it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock?
I think it's 7:30.
Is it 7:30?
That's the only performance as well, so that's important. Yeah.
Okay. The
one night only.
One night only. So that's even more of an incentive to get the tickets, which, by the way, are available $15 to $35 for adults, $5 for students, 12 and under free, and teachers are free. The back to school special.
Yes, back to school special for teachers. They get in free if you present their your teacher ID.
Okay, very good. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more about EVITA coming up this weekend on Saturday night. It is 9:22. Got a rainy day. I'll give you the whole forecast for the week. Actually looks pretty mild, though. That's the good news. This is WSJM AM 1400 and FM 94.9.
My name is Brenda Lane, and